About to leave, already packing. Come with me, I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be, life with no distractions. We'll get away, this is what we waited for. Not looking back, eyes on the freeway, Bonnie and Clyde, a classic cliche. We're on the run, this is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss now. I'm done living life with the lights out, died with my own doubts.
Afternoon, everyone. Jim here at GCU. Welcome to the second in our series of live revision sessions for AQA A-Level Business, where we're taking a look at recapping topics featuring in the advanced information for the 2022 exam. So AQA have issued that document that shows which topic areas could be in the three papers. So we're only going to draw on those topics, a smorgasbord of those topics in this session. And I'm joined today by Graham and Mike.
Afternoon, Jim. Afternoon, Graham. Hello, everyone.
Afternoon, Mike. Afternoon, Jim.
Seamless. Absolutely seamless. So last week we got off to a cracking start, didn't we, with our first topic mix, and we introduced a whole series of concepts and topics that are in the advanced information, some of which have never been examined. So if you've not caught that session, well worth, if you can, go back and have a look at that on replay. We're live here today, though, so please use the live chat to have a go at the various activities that Mike and Graham have got for us. They may even let me do one of the activities at the end. I'll see if I'm good. If I'm good on the clicker, I may get a chance to. Anything else to LG before Mike, before we make a start?
No. I think we'll just get started. Eh?
What a great idea! Yeah. Okay. All the best, everyone. See you shortly.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second of our advanced information topic mixes. So we're going to start off with a little activity called alternate vowels. If you have been to one of these live sessions before, you'll know what we've done. There will be a key term, and all we've done is where you see a vowel, we've sneakily changed it to a different vowel. All you need to do is work out the key term and type your thoughts into the chat window. So here's our first one. So whenever you see a vowel, it has been changed. So what do we think that key term is? Again, it is drawn from the advanced information. What do we think? Nima's first in there. It's always good when we see some interaction in the chat window. Got Isabella there. It is indeed retained profit. Well done, everyone. Jim, let's have a look at the next one, please. So same thing applies. All we've done here is we've changed the vowels. Can you work out what this key term is? In the news a lot recently. Nima straight in there as well. Let's have a few more seconds, see if anyone else can have a go. What do we think it is? Harry straight in there. Harry King. And the answer is indeed. It is indeed inflation. General rise in prices over time. Well done, everyone. Let's look at the next one. Another key term. All we've done is change the vowels. What do we think that one is? Few seconds. I can see some answers. Isabella straight in there. Nima straight in there as well. It's as if you've got access to the answers on the slides. The answer is indeed globalization. Two more, slightly more challenging, these two. And I don't think these two concepts have been examined. So what do we think this key term is? I think the first altered vowels clue that gives it away a little bit. What do we think? I don't think this topic has been examined. In fact, I know it hasn't been. Now, that's not to say it will be examined. We don't know. Cormac, straight in there. So excellent stuff. It is indeed industrial goods. So you need to know the difference between consumer goods and industrial goods. I don't believe that has been examined yet. Last one of these, altered vowels. We've saved the best to last. 3 words. Again, not examined. Don't believe it's been examined. But it is on the advanced information. What do we think that key term is? Harry, spot on there. Well done, sir. It is indeed enterprise resource planning. ERP for short. ERP for short. Well done, everyone. Let's do another little activity before I hand you over to Mike to do some MCQ. So, can you crack the code? What we'd like you to do is put these crises of growth according to Greiner, I think it's Greiner, according to Greiner's growth model in order. So we've got the 5 crises of growth. Can you put them in order? All we need is the letters. So the first crises, identify that. That will be your first letter, so on and so forth. What do we think? So according to Greiner's growth model, put these crises of growth in order. What do we think? Some valuable information there from Jim in the chat window. This appears to be proving slightly more challenging, judging by the inactivity in the chat window there. Let's have a look. So hold on a second. Let's see. I think we may have cracked the case. So the first one is indeed, it is leadership, D. That's the first crisis of growth. Then we have autonomy, C. Then we have B, control. Then we have A, red tape. And finally, the last crisis of growth is growth itself, the crisis perhaps of lack of growth. Okay, or concerns around lack of growth. Fantastic. I'm going to hand you over to Mike now, who's going to do some multiple choice questions.
Thank you, Graham. Good afternoon, everyone. So first multiple choice question is on the screen there for you. Making decisions based on data is known as A, primary, B, quantitative, C, qualitative, or D, scientific. Decisions based on data, A, B, C, or D. Answers in the chat window, please. Thank you, Harry and Nima. Very quick off the mark there. And Isabella. Not universal agreement, but there seems to be a definite theme. Let's look at the answer, Jim. Thank you. Scientific decision making is based on data. Scientific decision making, as opposed to hunch-based decision making. Scientific decision making is based on data. Well done if you got D as your answer. Fast and furious, here we are. Next multiple choice question. Which of the following methods of market segmentation relates to segmenting customers by age? Income is A, geographic is B, behavioral is C, and demographic is D. The answer is on the screen. You just need to choose which one it is. Which one is the correct answer? Pretty quick in with the answers again here. And more agreement on this. Let's look at the answer again, please, Jim. Thank you. It is demographic. It was D again. Let's look at the next of our multiple choice questions. Maybe slightly more challenging. A business has an income elasticity coefficient of minus 0.5. If incomes increase by 10%, what will happen to the quantity demanded? Will it fall by 5%? Will it increase by 5%? Will it fall by 10%? Or will it increase by 10%? Choose A, B, C, or D and put your answer in the chat window, please. So income elasticity coefficient is minus 0.5. Incomes increase by 10%. What will happen to quantity demanded? Thank you for the answers we've had so far. A few more seconds if you're still working. Income elasticity of demand, really important concept. Yeah, we've got a few right answers, certainly. The correct answer here is, of course, A. They will fall by 5%. Income elasticity of demand calculated by the percentage change in quantity demanded divided by the percentage change in income. Really important to be able to manipulate formulae, to be able to change them around. And in this case, that's what we have to do. So to calculate the quantity demanded, we simply multiply the income elasticity coefficient by the change in income. So it's minus 0.5 multiplied by 10%, which is therefore a fall of 5%. Well done if you got that right. Now, the next question we call a two-statement MCQ, and that's because there are two statements and then a choice of answers. So statement number one here reads, according to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, esteem or ego needs must be satisfied before self-actualization needs can be used to motivate employees. Statement number two, evaluating the current position of a business in relation to other similar businesses in the market is known as benchmarking. If you think that both statement one and statement two are true, it's A. If you think that one is true but two is false, put B. If you think that one is false but two is true, put C. And if you think they are both false, put D. A bit of Maslow and a bit of benchmarking. What do you think? Statement one and two. Answers coming through. Well done for contributing. Remember, it's really important to answer all the questions. If you miss out a multiple choice question, you will definitely get it wrong. Well done, all those who've contributed. Well done, Peter. Nice to see your name pop up. The answer, of course, is on the screen there. It's A. Both statements are true. For Maslow, before we can get to self-actualization needs, we need to satisfy the self-esteem or the ego needs. And benchmarking is very much about evaluating the current position in relation to other similar businesses. One more two-statement MCQ. Statement number one, an organic structure is characterized by formality and bureaucracy. Statement number two, the current share price of a business times the number of outstanding shares is known as market capitalization. The choices are the same as before. If you think they're both true, put A. If you think one is true, two is false, put B. If one is false and two is true, put C. And if you think they're both false, put D. Answers in the chat window, please. A, B, C, or D. So organic structures and market capitalization. Thank you, Nima and Toby and Isabella. Very quick. Harry as well. Great stuff. Okay, I think we're all in agreement here that it's C is the correct answer, because statement number 1 is false. That's not an organic structure. Statement number 2, though, is true. Market capitalization is indeed the share price multiplied by the number of shares. So well done if you got that right. Next activity is a 60-second challenge. The question is here on the screen. In 2019, the size of a market by value was £2 million. In 2020, the market grew by 6%. The average selling price of the products in the market in 2020 was £5. Calculate the size of the market by volume in 2020. 60-second challenge. I do think this question is worthy of a minute. Here's your minute starting now. Off we go. Good to see some answers coming through there. Thank you for those who have answered already. Don't be alarmed. A minute to answer this question is quite ambitious. In an exam situation, you'd allow yourself a little bit longer. So a few more seconds if you are still working. Remember, when working with calculations as well, to show your workings, show how you've reached an answer, because that way, even if the final answer is wrong, you may get some credit. And just while we're waiting, a comment in the chat window there about a guess on the multiple choice questions. I said to you before that if you don't answer a multiple choice question, you will definitely get it wrong. And whilst we would much prefer that you're able to pick out the right answer, you may be able to get it down to a 50-50 and make an educated guess. So important that you answer all of those questions. Let's have a look on the screen then for the correct answer. And I can see a couple of people in the chat window have got to that final answer. Not everyone. Some of us have worked out the first stage, but not got on to answer the full question. So the correct answer here is 424,000 units. Let's look at how we got there. We're asked to calculate the size of the market by volume in 2020. The size of the market by value in 2020 is what we need to work out first of all. So that's £2 million times by 1.06 to take into account the 6% growth. So that's 2,120,000, and some of you got to that stage. So it's possible in an exam you might get some credit for getting to that point. The size of the market by volume in 2020, we take the 2,120,000 and divide it by the selling price of £5, and we get to £424,000. Extremely well done if you got that right. One more activity with me, and then I'll hand back to Graham. This is called On Balance, and we're going to look at break-even analysis, a really key concept. Break-even analysis, and we're looking initially for 2 benefits of a business using break-even analysis. 2 benefits of break-even analysis for a business. You can put them in the chat window one by one, but why is break-even analysis useful or beneficial or advantageous for a business? Take some time. You can do them individually. You don't have to type them both. If you only think of one, just give us that. Benefits of using break-even analysis. You can hear people typing away. The chat window about to be inundated with answers. 2 possible benefits of using break-even analysis. Harry, I think you were first in. Yeah. Really good. And Sleeker, apologies if I'm mispronouncing any names. Nima, thank you very much. Let's have a look at some suggestions on the screen. You can see some of your answers popping up as well. Thanks to Jim for that. relatively new feature, I think. So you can see your answers and other people can see your answers very clearly. 2 we've picked out here, by no means an exhaustive list, and some of the answers in the chat window are equally valid. So it's useful for setting targets, makes very clear to the business how many units need to be sold in order to break even, which is, I think, what Harry said in a slightly different way. And it focuses management on keeping fixed costs under control. Okay, it focuses on keeping costs generally under control, but fixed costs in particular under control, because they are key to break even. I'm just looking in the chat window at other things. We haven't mentioned, I don't think, the break-even analysis can be useful in terms of raising finance, because potential investors will often look to see if a business plan includes evidence of break-even analysis. Well done. Thank you for your suggestions. Let's balance this up then. Let's look at the other side of the argument. And we're looking now for 2 limitations or 2 disadvantages of break-even analysis. Again, you can give them individually. You don't have to do 2. You can give them individually. 2 limitations of break-even analysis, please. Isabella, very quick there. Really quick and really detailed. Yep, like it. That's a good one. A few more seconds for those of you still working. There you go, Isabella. You get it showcased on the screen as well. And thank you, Nima. Yeah, brilliant. Good stuff. Let's have a look at the 2 that we picked out. So we've said that the sales are not the same as the output. Remember, on the break-even chart, sales and output are shown on the x-axis, on the horizontal axis, but they're not necessarily the same thing. Just because a business produces a unit doesn't mean that it gets sold. The business may consciously build up stocks, or there may be waste, or both. So the business may incur a cost but not get any revenue for that unit produced. It's also harder to use where businesses have more than one product and possibly selling those products at more than one price. Break-even is very simple with one product at one price, but it can become much more complicated. Lots of people talking about doesn't take into account changes, increasing costs, changing selling price. Lots of people have picked out the output and sales not being the same thing, and Nima picking out that, of course, it's a forecast, so it may not be accurate in that respect. Thank you for your contributions. Excellent as always. Let me hand back to Graham for the next activity.
Thanks, Mike. Oh, not sure what's happened there. There we go.
Looks like we're missing a slide on that one, Graham, but we'll move on to the second red herring slide.
Right, okay. So what I'd like you to do is, you can see 4 statements on screen. One of them doesn't belong there. It is a red herring. Can you identify which is the red herring and why? What do we think? So lots of people putting D. Why do we think D, though? Can you type that into the chat window, please? So lots of people saying it is D. Give everyone a few more seconds. Fantastic. So D is correct. Yes. Can we see why, please, Jim? So the others are elements of, if we can reveal the answer, the others are elements of the Boston matrix, where maturity we would associate with the product life cycle. Fantastic. Next one, please. So we've got negotiation, manipulation, coercion, and synergy. One of those is a red herring. It doesn't belong there. Which one is the red herring? What do we think? So 3 are all linked, but 1 is incorrect. So we've got trap melon. So we got synergy, a method of inorganic growth. Synergy is more a benefit of of growth, really. Takeovers and mergers, yeah. So we would associate synergy more as a benefit rather than a method. So Toby Davidson's put A, just a guess. So Nima, fantastic. That really good. So some really good knowledge and understanding there. Shall we reveal the answer? So yes, negotiation, manipulation, and coercion. We would link with Cotter and Schlesinger, where synergy is a benefit of inorganic growth. Fantastic. Let's do, I think, one more. Hopefully my slides are in order. So which one of these is the red herring and maybe why? So we've got buyer power, we've got differentiation, we've got cost focus, and we've got cost leadership. So which one of these is the red herring and why? So some answers starting to come through. So I think we have a good understanding here of these particular models and theories, and we are right. So C, D, and B, we would link with Porter's generic strategies, where A is the red herring because that is part of Porter's 5 forces. Make sure they're easy to mix up, those two. So be precise in your knowledge and understanding. Well done, everyone. Hopefully it is it's Mike next.
It is indeed, Graham.
It's Mike.
Yeah, and it's another 60-second challenge. So questions on the screen here. A business that employs 50 production staff currently produces 40,000 units per week. After investing in a training scheme, labor productivity per worker increases by 15%. Calculate the weekly labor productivity per employee after the training scheme. 60 seconds to do this. Good luck. Answers in the chat window, please. Well, as I said before, a minute to answer a question like that, or maybe slightly over a minute with my explanation beforehand, but a minute to answer that question is pretty ambitious. So if you're able to do that, and I can see that some people have, if you're able to do that, then that's very credit worthy, because in an exam a minute would be very impressive. So business employs 50 production staff. They currently produce 40,000 units per week. After a training scheme, labor productivity increases by 15%. Calculate the weekly labor productivity per employee after the training scheme. The answer, as so many of you have already put in the chat window, is 920 units. As always, we've shown our workings, so let's look at how we got there. Weekly labor productivity before the training scheme, when they were producing 40,000 units with 50 staff, was 800 units per person or per worker. Weekly labor productivity after the training scheme is 800 plus 15%. So 800 multiplied by 1.15, which is quite correctly 920 units, quite a significant increase. Well done if you got that right. And I can see Harry and Toby and Isabella and others were very quick in with their answers. Very well done. As Graham said at the top of the session, Jim's going to do this activity. So this conveyor belt time, I think, Jim.
Wow. Oh, that's very kind. Very kind to let me do this activity. Graham, you chip in as we go, just in case I get it wrong. It's a question, an activity based around one of the models that is in the advanced information, which is Bowman's strategy or strategic clock. It would be a lot easier if he come up with a strategic triangle, but he didn't. He came up with a clock, which means that we can play the conveyor belt activity. What will appear on the screen for a minute are 6 boxes, and you need to tell me at the end of it which of those 6 are in the clock. So you may decide that all of them are, or none of them, or some of them. So let's do it, shall we? Don't forget, each of the terms here has a number associated with them. So we're going to be looking for the numbers, or if you want to type in the answers. But wait to see all of the 6 boxes first before you type your answer in. Here comes box number 6. It's a good job there aren't 36 boxes, so this could be quite a long activity. There we go, disappears off the conveyor belt. Can you? Sounds like a prison door. We partnered with Pixar for that animation. I hope you appreciated it. So there we go. Those are the 6 boxes that appeared. So which of those 6? Is it all of them, none of them, or some of them are in or feature in Bowman's strategic clock? Give you a few more seconds to have a look. Toby and Toby's gone for 1, 3, and 4. So has Harry, but Seeker's gone for 1, 3, and 5. Nima's gone for 1, 3, and 4. So it's Isabella. Lots of people having a go at this activity, which is fantastic. A few more seconds and then we will reveal the correct answer. Let's have a look, shall we? How did he get on? Well, there we are. It was indeed 1, 3, 4, and 5, because perceived added value is a feature of the clock. It's one of the dimensions, isn't it, on the clock? Don't forget there are 8 positions on the clock. Diversification. Clearly not. Diversification is part of Ansof's matrix, and segmentation, of course, is, well, it's segmentation, targeting, and positioning. It's one of the models and theories, but it's not part of Bowman's strategy clock. Does anyone know which of those positions listed there is often seen or perceived to be the optimal position in the strategy clock? Which, and it is on the screen there. Does anyone know, as a follow-up question, which is often argued is to be the optimal position from a competitive point of view? What do we think? Yeah, Harry's suggesting it could be 4, differentiation, which of course is the top of the clock. That's the maximum perceived added value, but for a middle of the road price. Yeah, it can be 4. It's often argued that actually that a hybrid position is possibly in many situations the most likely to lead to competitive success, where you've got a very high degree of perceived added value, but for a lower price than, for example, differentiation or focused differentiation. It all depends on how much customers want a differentiated product or service. But you're right, 3, 4, and 5 tend to be quite effective strategies, particularly in niche markets. The strategies that don't work are 6, 7, and 8, which is where you can always be beaten by a lower price or a higher perceived added value. Superb stuff. Bowman strategy clock, one of the models and theories that could appear in the summer. I thought quite likely to, actually. It's a great model you can use anyway as part of your answers. And there we go. I think we're done. Nice to finish off with a bit of Bowman, wasn't it, Graham? Mike, nice to just touch base on that one.
Yeah, I thought it was about time we had an activity on Bowman strategic clock. Do you know? Actually, I was just thinking there. You know, yesterday I made a belt out of broken clocks.
Yeah.
Waste of time.
Very good.
On that note, I would just like to say I think the interaction on the chat window has been superb today. Some really good answers and some extended responses as well, which is really, really good to see. So well done, everyone.
Totally agree.
And a big shout
fantastic
to Mrs. Turnbull as well.
Indeed.
Toby mentioned Mrs. Turnbull and the way she told him to do the calculation, and he got it right. So well done, Mrs. Turnbull.
Fantastic stuff. Many thanks to everyone who's joined us live. Don't forget you can catch up on this, but I guess also if you may be revising for mocks or other assessments coming up in the next half term, all the other A-Level Business sessions. We've done quite a few AQA MCQ blasts as well, where we put together some brand new MCQ questions that have never appeared in exam papers, but exam standard and exam style. Might be worth trying a few of those, just as a different way of breaking up your revision. Well, we're busy now getting ready for our workshops, so we'll be back again this time next week, but you may have noticed that our Grade Booster exam workshops, booking is now live. So if you want to meet Mike and Graham and the team, and me, not that you would want to, but or me that is, you get a chance to come and join us either in London, Birmingham, Bristol, Manchester or Leeds, I think is the list, isn't it, Graham? Mike, I think that's our list.
Yeah. Educational rock stars on tour. Can I just mention one other thing as well? For further advice, guidance and support on A-Level and even GCSE business, if you know anyone doing GCSE business, you can follow us on our Instagram account, Tutor to You Business, where daily we are putting exam style questions, quizzes, business in the news, lots of extra advice on there and revision questions. So please, if you want more support, follow us, Tutor to You Business Instagram.
Superb stuff. And as always, a big thanks to everyone who's joined us live, and to Graham and Mike for taking some time out. I know you've had a really busy day, and we'll be back again this time next week, won't we, with another topic mix of advanced information topics. Just a good way of just covering all that content, just to sort of test to see how you're getting on. So look forward to seeing you this time next week. See you later.
Bye, everyone.